was to bring top-end learning to them, preparing them to evolve with the rapidly changing business ecosystem. The Bharat Chamber Knowledge Series was born with this idea. Our quest for bringing top-end learnings took us to IIM Calcutta, with whom we already have a relationship in the form of an award and an industry medal. They received us with open arms. In fact, as Professor Rai remarked while signing the MOU, why did it take so long for two of the oldest institutions in the city in their respective fields to come together? Friends, the launch of this partnership between Bharat Chamber and IIM Calcutta today is history in the making. Established in 1961, IIM Calcutta is the oldest IIM and Bharat Chamber is amongst the oldest chambers of commerce with a large membership comprising members having business in diverse sectors and in all shapes and sizes. Over 40 affiliated industry associations and local chambers of commerce across the eastern region and their members have a multiplier effect on our overall ecosystem. The timing could not have been better. Both institutions are in a city where a dawn of a new chapter for business has now emerged, which will open up new growth opportunities for business, ending an eclipse of over 6 decades. There is renewed discourse on economic revival and industrial resurgence in West Bengal. Overall, India, as the fastest rising large economy, continues to provide great business opportunities. The role of academia to support this growth is critical. No wonder, amongst our members too, we have some very prestigious educational institutions, and some of them are present here today. The theme, Academia Industry Synergy in a Transforming Economy, Challenges and Opportunities, assumes special significance in this context. At such a defining moment, closer collaboration between academia and industry becomes not merely desirable but essential. Institutions of higher learning and centers of management excellence need to work in partnership with industry to prepare the state for the demands of a rapidly transforming national and global economy. Such synergy can help bridge the long-standing gap between classroom learning and industrial realities, thereby creating a future-ready leadership, management, and workforce equipped for the challenges of tomorrow. At this time, when a structured partnership between academia and industry can become one of the strongest pillars of inclusive and sustainable development. Friends, during the signing of the MOU between IIM Calcutta and Bharat Chamber, Professor Rai himself underscored the importance of academia-industry synergy and partnership. Therefore, it will be wonderful to hear his perspectives on today's theme and how academia and industry can jointly contribute towards shaping a confident, progressive, and globally competitive Bengal and Bharat. Professor, you will find Bharat Chamber put its best foot forward in this partnership with IIM Calcutta and be there with you as and when you would like us to be it for research or anything else. With these words, I would like to once again express my sincere gratitude to Professor Rai for gracing the Chamber with his presence at today's session in spite of his extremely busy schedule and request him for sharing his valuable perspectives and insights. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to also inform you that there is a bonus in the offering. Professor is Professor of Marketing and related subjects, and he has agreed to enrich us with a talk on relationship management after his theme presentation is complete. Thank you very much, Professor. Over to you now.
Thank you. Thank you, very respected President of the Chamber of Commerce, Bharat Chamber of Commerce, all the esteemed officials of Bharat Chamber of Commerce, all the esteemed delegates who have joined for this deliberation, all the officials from different bodies. I not just represent a great seat of learning of the country, but also I consider to be representing a pride of the state, which is Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. This institute, as Honorable President shared, is the first Indian Institute of Management across the country. And the mentor institution has been no less than Sloan, MIT Sloan. So the very fundamentals were drawn from MIT Sloan, and the spirit with which the entire institution was established still is intact in letter and spirit. However, as after 65 years of its existence in the state and in the city, where for 125 years Bharat Chamber of Commerce is also there, we could forge an alliance. I hope to further the alliance to take it to some meaningful outcome, because when we talk of National Education Policy 2020, it strongly emphasizes upon how important it is to take industry along right from the stage of conception of the content up to creating an industry ready human resource. And it is for this that industry academia synergy is so very important. You know, there have been several reports that you might have undergone through, and they, in one word or the other, they largely has been talking about that in India people refer to the problem of employment or unemployment, but it is, the situation is equally grave in when it comes to employability of the workforce. So industry on one hand says we are not getting proper human resource, industry ready human resource. On the other hand, the youth says we do not have jobs. So of course there lies some gap. Now where lies the solution? Solution essentially lies in creating synergy between academic institutions and industries. Now you talk of, say, West Bengal. I'll share certain statistics, and I could come to know only after having come here and stayed here for over 9 months now. This state, which has had its contribution to the national GDP close to 10%, with a population of not even 5%. So population contribution was not even 5%, while GDP contribution was over 10%, and today the situation has reversed. But one day I was referring to some literature about Calcutta, so I found out that Calcutta still has the third position in the overall GDP in terms of a city. First is Mumbai, second is Delhi NCR, and third is Calcutta. I was reminded of a brand called Thumbs Up immediately. A lot went wrong with Thumbs Up by the promoters of the new bosses when this Parle soft drinks was acquired by Coca-Cola Inc. Despite Thumbs Up held its strength, Thumbs Up has had such an enormous brand equity, then they had to relaunch it, repackage it, and then they had to relaunch it. So that is where the strength of Calcutta lies. But to further it, I'll again go back to the fundamental question of where industry says we are not getting the right resource, and on the other hand the youth says we don't have jobs. So, as I said, we are going to, in order to create synergy, we have to bring in the industry as a partner right from the stage of conception of the program. Interestingly, I'll share IIM Calcutta experience. We, of course, you all must be aware of our 2 years flagship MBA program, which is one of the, largest demanded, most demanded product. If at all I'm allowed to use product as a term for a academic program, some people may have some other issue, but then finally for us it is a product, and there is no problem in being professional with respect to the assignment that you undertake. So that is a flagship program. Then we also started our MBA executive program 19 years ago. That does so well. Similarly, a doctoral program, which again is, earlier it used to be termed as fellow program in management, and now it is a full-fledged PhD, doctoral program. But then in due course, 2 programs were started by IIM Calcutta in association with leading educational institutions of the country. One was a postgraduate diploma in business analytics that was in association with ISI Calcutta and IIT Kharagpur. That is 2 years postgraduate diploma in business analytics. And we also started a program for manufacturing industry, postgraduate program in Visionary Leadership Program in Management, VLMP program, where IIT Kanpur, IIT Madras and JICA is the Japanese counterpart, we all forged together. It was a 1-year program, of course, for people who have got over 5 years of industry experience in manufacturing. So we got this done. Of late, I don't know if I should share such secret information of my institution with you, but then we are in the process of revamping our product portfolio. This is what in the last academic council meeting I proposed, that time has come to rethink on our product portfolio, and we are going to see whether those programs have outlived its utility, and whether the time has come to either recreate, rebrand, renovate for its resurrection. Now, what was important was that, are we changing the content strongly enough to suit to the modern requirements of the industry? Because we charge, pretty, I don't know what is the word that I should use, pretty adequately. So, and then the value, because when it comes to business, it's a value transaction. It essentially has to, for its sustainability, we need to be value driven. Now, value, the crudest form of comprehension of the term value is, of course, what? Utility vis-a-vis cost, right? Now, when it comes to its outcome, utility, benefit, vis-a-vis cost, mere benefit would suffice, but when we are going to expect it with respect to cost, are we being there where we should be? Because if we do not benchmark ourselves against where we should be, we won't be able to survive in the market. Even private institutions, self-finance institutions are coming up with wonderful models. They are giving wonderful delivery. So we cannot just sustain on the backing of Government of India. And I keep saying this, we should be as honest as possible. if from Indian Institute of Management, I keep asking my faculty, if we remove Indian out of Indian Institute of Management, where are we going to be placed at? Also, I would like to draw your attention to a fact that all the people who are sitting here, given a chance to send your young kid for class 11th or 9th or 7th, 8th, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, if at all you can afford, will you send your ward to a Sarkari college, school? आप सोच के बताइए. I'm not asking. But given an opportunity that the same ward gets an admission to IIT, will you send him or not? Him or her or not? And for masters, will you, if your ward gets admission to Indian Institute of Management vis-a-vis a private institute, some XYZ Institute of Management, which one will you prefer? Of course, IIM. Now why? You've got to understand, both the institutions have had backing of the respective governments. But Kendriya Vidyalaya is a central government institution. You don't send your ward to Kendriya Vidyalaya. But I mean the same Kendriya Vidyalaya which is hosted within the campus of Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta, but you would want your son or daughter to go to IIM Calcutta. We'll have to understand, so the very legacy that we carry, largely based on the strength of being the pioneer and being backed by government, we have to respect it. For what was important is, and that is where when new national education policy in 2020 came, it said that we have to align our programs with industry. So while resurrection of the program, by re-engineering the product portfolio of IIM Calcutta, I said, I'm not saying that we want to disassociate ourselves or our program with the educational institutional partners, but we want to bring in on board the industry partners as well. And because we prepare the product for you, if you come on board and tell me, look, these are the specifics that are supposed to be there in the content. These are the specifics where it is not only that knowledge that will suffice, but skill is equally important. It is not only that we have to get into these specific set of examination, rather these practical exposure and these practical skill based outcomes also need to be part of the evaluation system. We shall remain where we were. And we will meet the fate of our school, central government backed school counterparts. So in order to survive, in order to be a leader, remain leader, we need to be proactive enough to identify what are the changes that are supposed to be there into the system right from our product design up to product delivery. Process is there. Any educational institution for that matter, any educational institution which is sincere about the legacy and the brand that it carries will surely teach well, right? We all must have been taught in one institution or the other, and you must have seen that how sincere our teachers have been. They have been coming to the classes, they have been coming to the classes prepared, they have been trying to impart the knowledge that they were supposed to. They would be concerned enough to address our queries even outside the classes and so on. But does this suffice? And suffice in the age which is with a computer everyone has in one's hand. Everyone. In the class, everyone, this is a computer, right? So they have access to all the possible set of informations. Students are ready to put in more time as compared to us, as a faculty. So what is it that creates our survival? Not just survival, but enable us to continue to be there as leader. And it is our partnership with the industry for which we are producing our products. Another important thing I would like to draw your attention to is education is such a peculiar industry, if I'm allowed to use the term industry for education. Some people may be sensitive enough, but education is such a peculiar industry where student is the product and student is the customer. Unlike other industry where this is the product and you and I could be the customer, here my student is my product, उसी को तो बाजार में ला रहे हैं, and student is the customer, उसी के लिए ला रहे हैं. ये अच्छा निकलेगा तो नया लॉट आएगा. So this year we offered probably the highest ever placement, package placement. The highest package this year was 1.45. Now IIM Calcutta has been relatively shy institution. I mean, otherwise also people in West Bengal do not show off. They don't believe in showing them off. They are like subtle, shy. So I was traveling and I was in UP, and the place where I was staying, I saw the newspaper on front page news was of some other IIM which said ex IIM ने 1 crore का पैकेज दिया. Front page 3 column news. My area is marketing. I said यार ये क्या है, हमने तो उससे ज्यादा दिया, हमने तो छापा ही नहीं. I immediately called the dean concerned and I said कि what happened? Did you send the placement news? No, we don't send. हमने कहा phone रखिए. Then I called the placement in charge, professor in charge of placements. I said, did you give this the news? I said, नहीं साहब. हमने कहा why? बोले हम तो देते नहीं है. हमने कहा चोरी करते हैं कि नहीं दे रहे? अरे भाई कोई गलत काम थोड़ी कर रहे हैं. We are serving the society. We were able to serve our society well, and this is one of the ratification of our good work. So why are we hiding? If at all the information is wrong, ठीक है, इसको नहीं देना चाहिए. But if the I said, सही तो बताया आपने मुझे. You told me right. 1.45, हाँ? तो हमने कहा when it is right, why do you hide? I said you prepare a new press release, send it to me by afternoon. I saw that and it got published next day. One piece of information I shared on my LinkedIn and on Twitter. I'll tell you, I'm only 4-5 months old on LinkedIn. It has had close to 80,000 impressions. वो एक 4 कॉलम की न्यूज का, वो कलकत्ता में पब्लिश हुआ. मैंने एक पेपर का सिर्फ I had shared, and it has had 80,000 impression of that. I'm trying to say is that our professionalism demands us to be responsive enough. When we do good, I want that. Why at all are we surviving? We are surviving to produce some trained, skilled human resource to serve you all sitting here. And you subscribe to the skill only when you find worth in it. A businessman cannot pay anything, any penny, single penny extra. So that is a ratification of the value that the institution has been able to impart, and it is my honesty to my institute and my students to communicate it that way. So it was important. So we talked to so many industry professionals and we found some issues here and there. One of the reasons we found was that we also lose on some students because we do not have air conditioners in our hostel. So we said, I inquired with the finance office, can we afford it? They said yes. If we can afford it, why not spend it on student? If we can afford it, let us spend it. Now all these input come from the industry and we try to reciprocate upon. So even while re-engineering our product portfolio, we decided that we'll bring in industry partner instead of educational institution partner. We ourselves are good educational institution. You want to come on board? Fair enough. Otherwise, thank you very much. But I want you all to come on board and tell us right from the stage of curriculum design up to ensuring the experiential learning of our students. So from content to, like for example, in experiential learning, I said, you all must have realized, must have known that IIM Calcutta is known to be a finance campus. See, globally, I mean, within the same sector, I don't know if using sector again is a appropriate term for educational institution, but within the same sector, we try to have a core competency. So we are largely quant and finance driven institution, and this is the kind of positioning that we have had. So anyone in the country who wants to build a career in the field of finance, for them let us try to be the first choice. For some institution would be in marketing, so marketing globally Kellogg's is considered to be number one. In IT entrepreneurship it is MIT. So different institution. For finance it could be Harvard. So different institutions need to have a different core competencies. We have been in the field of finance. So what we did in our finance program, we onboarded with National Stock Exchange, who said we will offer live trading to your students with our own facility. So we'll arrange for a week's travel of our student with NSE. They'll arrange for their working on terminal. Now this is what is bringing industry on board, not just in curriculum or content design. So that is adequately captured in the whole content preparation and facilitate the experiential learning. Then another equally important area, and all I am saying is I am pitching all this to all of you, that if you want to come forward and tell us that this is what I can offer or this is what I want. So if you want some consultancy from us, we are open for that also. But so joint researches or maybe some innovation, because we have a pool of professionals. Since long, we being a public funded institution, central government funded institution, we largely have been focusing upon these government projects and government consultancies. Government consultancies are relatively richer in nature. But for private, for corporate, we can do some kind of consultancy of lesser priced as well, but you can come on board. We have a pool of faculty who are good, like we have finance faculty also, HR faculty also, IT faculty also, operations faculty also. So all these faculty members, and modern corporates do not have a specific marketing problem or finance problem or HR problem. Corporates have business problems, and no decision can be taken in isolation. So you need to have a pool of all these professionals, and what we have, our strength is we have finest quality faculty. So if you want something, we can bring our students also on board for solutions. They learn, you get solution, we get compensation. Here also this synergy works and it takes us further. And during the course, what we get is two things. As an institution, we further our knowledge reservoir. You tell us something which we otherwise might not have known. Say I did my MBA 15 years ago or 25 years ago, and that time the businesses have had different problems. Till then, my majority exposure has been to the researchers that have come up. And academic faculties largely concentrate on researchers that are academic in nature. This is one of the handicap of especially management education. So what we were proposing, I was proposing, was that with such greater interaction, we can get the latest that is going on in the field of corporate businesses of different kinds, and we also strengthen our networking. So our networking may subsequently be leveraged for sending our students for industrial visits or industrial exposure, or through research problems, trying and find out and finding some solution. And of course, usme CSR comes in, consultancy comes in, and a lot of things. And at the end of the day, it is the final placement of our students as well. So in all these cases, this synergy help us in reaching out to the final goals. What is extremely important, and this is what I proposed after joining at IIM Calcutta, was a 5I model that is essentially required for IIM Calcutta, specifically for IIM Calcutta. One is the integration of the institution. This integration, as I said at the very outset, is that why did it take 65 full years to collaborate with Bharat Chamber of Commerce, which is close to 60 years. 60, so you are 60 years elder than our institution, and we could not. So this integration is extremely important, and this integration is important. Why? Because this integration with our ecosystem. So I'll share, you may like what we did at IIM Calcutta is, so one of the things to integrate our system, our institution with the ecosystem, is that I propose to recreate a West Bengal on campus. Now our West Bengal is not just a kind of showcase or ek chota sa kuch area, recreating area. No. I wanted West Bengal to be part and parcel of the ecosystem of the state. So now when you go to IIM Calcutta campus, आप जाएंगे, or anyone can go, and initial thing is you go to the security person and you tell him which office is which way, and I want, and some pass, etc., anything, if at all it is to be done. You will be listening, and this is 24/7, you will be listening to Ravindra Sangeet that is being played at the gate. एकदम बढ़िया बोस का साउंड सिस्टम और रविंद्र संगीत बज रहा है, आपको एकदम अच्छा लगेगा. Then when you want to come to the office of the director, you will be crossing, there are 7 lakes on campus. You will be crossing those lakes with barricades of bamboo that is designed by the craftsmen of Dinajpur. You got that specially curated, that has been installed. So in different things, what we are going to do is, we have numerous buildings, and our buildings have largely been with letters, denoted with letters. So ABC, PQR, NAP, NTB, this, that. I said we'll name, and shortly we are going to do that. We are going to name our buildings based on the national heroes that West Bengal created and gave it to the nation in the field of national service, educational service, cultural service, or any area. This is how we are going to name ourselves, or this thing. During the convocation, and this is my grievance with the entrepreneurs of West Bengal also, that I wanted to share, and I'll share. So during convocation, I wanted the gown and something of that carries kantha stitching, which again is a local needlework, West Bengal's needlework. I tried hard. Then I tried to connect with NID Jorhat. They have had a separate dress designing system, but I was insisting upon that I want kantha stitching to be done. Oh, they did all the academic work, but no work, real work. I myself then tried to explore, tried to talk to as many entrepreneurs as possible. I could not reach out to any meaningful conclusion. So one day I'll take your number then. So one day I went to Bada Bazaar, and it was Sunday, so I could go up to Bada Bazaar. I traveled to so many lanes and all possible shops that were open. I went to them. I said कि मुझे कांथा stitching का वो gown चाहिए, and I was carrying a sample gown also. I said like I wanted the fabric which is to be weaved here in West Bengal with kantha stitching done. Okay, so I could not get hobena करके फिर I had some, Calcutta is famous for chai. I had some chai somewhere and then I left. One day I was discussing with some people. I was told there is an area called Hindustan Park and there are so many textile stores, so go there. I went all alone with sample in my hand. There were at least 20 stores where I went. I showed them. I said, "ठीक है, gown नहीं दोगे? You give me an uttariyo with kantha stitching." You could not find. I said, "एडवांस पैसा देंगे, 1000 पीस चाहिए, अभी दे दो." I was immensely disappointed. I am from Banaras. And I said, see, Banaras is not that developed place and known for entrepreneurial spirits. It is a spiritual place. But if you go there and walk to a store, like I was walking, and go to a बनारसी सिल्क स्टोर एंड से कि मुझे 1000 दुपट्टे बनारसी सिल्क के बना के दे दो, तुरंत बैठाएगा, लस्सी पिलाएगा, मिठाई मंगाएगा, कहेगा साहब ये हम डिज़ाइनर बुलाते हैं, 5 डिज़ाइन 10 डिज़ाइन देख लीजिए, जो आपको पसंद है वो बता दीजिए, पता बता दीजिए, सामान ले आएंगे, पसंद होगा तो पैसे दीजिएगा. This is of not so developed place I'm sharing, and if you want you can try. But here in Mahanagar I could not, so I was a little disappointed with the entrepreneurial spirit, and I believe your role as an entrepreneur is of immense significance in recreating the culture of entrepreneurship here. But we could not. Then finally, I reached out to the alumni chapter. I am Calcutta alumni chapter. I knew few people, they occasionally invite me. So I told them, कि भाई I am looking for some kantha stitching उतरियो, अभी गाउन वाउन तो छोड़ दो, टाइम तो बीत गया 1.5 महीना इसमें खोजने में. So then they connected us to some, I mean it's a kind of NGO. So they said कि भाई इनको पैसे, but you will have to provide in advance. I said that will be taken care of, but you get that done, and it was done, and I'll tell you the response. And that is where I want to draw your attention to the fact that how this integration works. Students who normally goes after this, examinations, and they come back again for convocation. When they came and they saw this utariyo, they were so gaga over this, they said, this is not, we are going to return back. Normally, they pay a kind of token money, they use that gown and that cap and everything, and then once after the convocation, they return it, they get their money back. So, my program chairperson was in charge of this convocation. He came to me and said, there is a problem. There is a situation, not problem. There is a situation. I said, what? He said, students are saying we are not going to give you back. So I said, ठीक है, उनसे पैसे ले लीजिए, दे दीजिए. Next year we will get something better done. Well, after all, this will add to the economy of the place. And then when we shared this and a lot of people came during convocation, they saw, they liked it, and then they also suggested us the newer places where we can reach out to, we can go to, and so this time we are going to upgrade it, not just in terms of Utariyo but also elsewhere. So this is one integration that we have done along with, and one more thing, we are also going to start teaching Bangla to our students, not compulsorily, so that they do not have any objection to be imposed by anything, but it is strictly going to be optional. So anyone who comes from Kerala or Kashmir, if they want to learn the local language, and they should learn. They should learn. If you go to a new place, you should try to learn develop the taste of food and culture and craft and situation and geography. So this integration has been important for our institution, and I'm happy that Bharat Chamber of Commerce enabled us to integrate us with one of the oldest Chamber of Commerce of the country. Then inclusion was also important. The second I was the inclusion. This inclusion with the ecosystem. Now this inclusion should not be in the name of inclusion and should not go against the very philosophy of businesses or business models. So if I am allowed to share, I'll share that lot of unfair I am saying because this does not gel well with the basic principles of businesses. So we used to have AMCs in our institute for fans, lights, ACs, this, that, civil, electrical, everything. And when I found out, I realized that if I pay you 15 lakhs for AMC, what all you do is you hire only a couple of workforce. If I hire the workforce, my cost is going to be 5 lakhs. So why will I pay you that 10 lakh extra? Similarly, when I found out across sections of the work, we realized, I got this calculation done and I realized that we'll be able to save close to, 3 crore rupees across all these AMCs. I said we won't do this. I am not going to allow this. Now, since you do not allow, these manpower have been working for years with those vendors, and there they are getting salary lesser than what we pay to our people. Because we being a government institution, there are certain mandated rates that we are going to comply with all these labor laws norms. So if we bring them on board, not just that they'll get high, we will save on money. So this inclusion, since it was not communicated properly, they were trying to go here and there to find out, अरे भाई हमारा तो नौकरी गया, हमारा तो नौकरी AMC नहीं है तो. So I called them and I said, look, you will not decide what I will do to my institution. By the interest of the institution essentially has got to be taken care of by the institution with the administrators. But we are going to devise a model that is going to provide a win-win situation for both, for you as well as for the institute. Such kind of inclusion that is sustainable, that is winnable, that is logical has got to be resorted to, and this inclusion should be a cross section. So this is the second, and third was the innovation. The third I was the innovation that the institute has been resorting to, and in all these cases we would want the corporate partners to come forward and align with us and help us and enable us to develop a model and also practice this. So this innovation, like for example, what I talked of was about re-engineering our product portfolios. There are programs that did well, that were good for a particular time, but we also have got to be innovative enough to see where the future is going to lie. So this is the time when the entire corporate decision making is moving towards artificial intelligence. If we left out to our traditional academics, we'll be repenting on our decision of not doing at an appropriate time. This is a high time. So a lot of investment we are going to make on artificial intelligence. We are also going to develop our own small language model, not large language model, small language model we are going to develop. Majority of our automation are going to be in-house. Even we are developing studios where, and we can help you all, and we would want your contribution and collaboration also in this, that say for example I'm speaking here with this black jacket, white shirt, specs, and presidents have wanted me to be in suit, say. It can easily be done without me speaking. So I'm given a topic, I write some keywords, my language, my vocal characteristics, my facial expressions, my content is recorded for say 2-3 minutes. For this topic, some keywords are ask from me, and my 45-minute session can be developed without me being present in the suit that presidents have wanted. And this artificial intelligence tools are doing it, and we are developing that system here at our place. So we are investing heavily on artificial intelligence to enable our, because modern corporate decisions are going to be AI based. Not just this AI based, the future of artificial intelligence, I mean, according to me, this artificial intelligence tool is going to last for not more than 5-7 years. Because a lot of work is going on in quantum computing. This artificial intelligence has enormous cost to environment. Enormous cost to environment. One query that you put in ChatGPT or Grok or Claude or anywhere, one sentence costs 1 liter of water. One query that we posed. Now quantum computing is not just addressing that and bringing it down by 1/10, but also increasing the speed by 100 times. So modern researchers are working on. So maybe in 5-7 years, so we are enabling our system to be future ready. So from this, we are like working on the present and the coming future thing, with a fact in mind that the future is not going to be of this for always. This is going to be something next, and can we develop our system which can easily be scalable to or be migrated to the next one. Internationalization is the fourth eye that at IIM Calcutta we are emphasizing upon. And in this internationalization, I think we have been a bit till now, we need to work harder, stronger, and we also contemplate on whether we can set up our campus abroad as well. So even that is in our mind. First stage is, of course, our students keep going outside, foreign students also come, not very huge in number, but then it is certainly there. We also have our training campuses outside, but we want a full-fledged campus, academic campus also outside. So that is, we are contemplating on, and we want to take it forward. But last but not the least is the fact of being grounded in Indian value system. So Indianization of all the functions, all the decisions, all the actions should be Indian, because sustainability lies there only. So with these 5I models, we are, I mean, I as director and also on my personal behalf, I am so happy to speak to the industry veterans of this place, such a prestigious body of commerce. I invite you all to come on board and let us join our hands to further the cause, not just of education but also of industry, and most importantly of the nation and society, which we really require. So I'll respect the demand and instruction of Honorable President of Bharat Chamber of Commerce. So just few things about relationship management that he instructed me to speak about, and we can have a separate full-fledged session on relationship management. So when I say relationship management, I should also add a prefix of customer relationship management, because otherwise I may end up being a love guru. So it's customer relationship management. So businesses have moved beyond transactional business to relationship business. Who better than you all can realize the very strength of relationship in the businesses? So when this, I mean, there are a lot of statistics that says from industry to industry, it varies from 1/5 to 1/8 the cost of acquisition of new customer if the customer stays with you. I mean, so I got some work done in this field, and initially I worked on conceptualization of the concepts, different concepts of customer relationship management, largely across service industries. And from that, I thought people many a time are left with numerous questions than answers. So I developed some mathematical models to quantifiably assess, objectively assess the outcomes of those relationship management constructs. Like for example, how satisfied are you? It's a very simple question. Normally what we do, if you have got to rate any satisfaction, you go to a restaurant, you want to rate the satisfaction, they'll give you a questionnaire, right? With some statistical Likert type scale, or 3-point scale, 5-point scale, 7-point scale, you give us some rating and they'll assess, develop a mean and tell you the value. I mean, they'll use it for their own consumptions. But these variables are not linear always. Now, all factors may not contribute equally. So, if your AC is not working, howsoever good the food would be, you may not like the restaurant. And if the ambience is good, is superbly good, even if the food is not of liking of my liking, I may be a satisfied customer, because we don't go to a restaurant largely for food. We go for company. We go for experience. So in my experience, food was just one of the components. So we essentially need to have the weightages also. So how can we attend these weightages, identify the relative weight of all these, and then quantifiably assess this? If you want, and any of you in service business, you can ask me, I'll get some study conducted for you. That can be part of a consultancy also, that can be part of industry institute partnership also, that can be part of our students' exposure to experiential learning as well. Then I moved on to, because in many cases, these things keep varying very fast. So say for example, in a year's time, you see the temperature variation in a year's time. So can we have algorithms done so that instead of doing this whole thing manually collected, put onto equations with those relative weightages and getting calculations done, can we develop an algorithm where we immediately feed in and keep getting the data with real-time variations? So my check-in time in a hotel, maybe if I'm checking in at 12 noon and 12 midnight, the time taken may have different variations. So same check-in in a hotel, which has got a certain relative weight, but even within that variable, the relative weight is going to vary with time. So my algorithms can account for, and this can provide me a value that is more reliable. Then subsequent testing of all these constructs, all these variables, could even be done, instead of having quantifiable responses, be done through biometrics. Like, normally what happens if I give you a questionnaire and I ask for a response, you will give me, if I have given you a 5-point scale, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, or 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. That may not always lead to the real outcomes. But if I assess some of your biometric indicators before you are exposed to the service and after you are exposed to the service. Now if I say that let me test your blood pressure, your temperature, your pupil dilation or contraction, you may not allow me. You may not allow me. भाई खाना खाने आए इतना सजा ले रहे हो हमको. So what can be done? There are devices, like for example biometrics, some thumb impression. Like what happens? You use tablet, you use phone, you use this. So similarly, some such device, if I want to test you, say to open the door, we normally use our hand. You use your hand and your biometrics. I mean, this hand, see, I've not got to use your, your thumb impressions. But that will give me a temperature, some pulse, these things. And after experience, when you open it, again using this, those biometric recordings are done. These biometrics can also provide us a solution which is more reliable. So instead of 454545, this is more reliable and can be used for an outcome that may give an input to the service provider for subsequent improvement on what my customer is requiring for strengthening of my relationship. Because with see, one thing is for sure, and you all realize and you all would certainly be working upon, and that is that you all must have been working towards, if not branded, working towards branding. If not organized, must be working towards organizing. Because badi machli choti machli ko kha jayegi. So if you are not branded, think of. If you are not organized, think of. And this is not just by choice. This is compulsion for survival. For all these gradual emphasis on relationship, building relationship, or moving beyond transaction to relationship is important, because in that case, cost of acquisition of customer is much, much lesser as compared to getting new customer acquisition. So I already have exceeded enough of my scheduled time. So thank you very much again for providing me the opportunity. I can always come for a separate session on relationship management. I worked in this field for 20 years, so I can go on and on and on this. But I'm happy that I've been provided with an opportunity to interact with you all. Also, if you have any query, I'm ready to take that here or maybe over a cup of tea. So thank you very much. Again, thank you on behalf of IIM Calcutta and also on my personal behalf. Thank you very much.
What a wonderful talk that we had from you, Professor Rai. So many things resonated so much. Of course, last May, you mentioned about if you are not branded and if you are not organized, relationship management will help you through. And let me just confess that being from service industry, this has been one of the things which has helped me a lot in my career growth as well. There are a couple of things that I would like to mention. First of all, friends, I'm delighted to announce that Professor Rai has accepted our invitation to join our committee of the Bharat Chamber of Commerce as an honorary committee member. A couple of things more, sir. One is, of course, you mentioned about Thumbs Up. Ladies and gentlemen, just want to share that Coca-Cola's global headquarters are in Atlanta, and they have a sort of an experience center over there. I have had an opportunity to visit there. On that day, I remember there were 140 different kinds of Coca-Cola product drinks, beverages that you could taste over there. And looking at that Thumbs Up, you cannot imagine how excited we were as a family to America mein Thumbs Up taste karne ko mila, so we forgot most of the other drinks and we actually tasted Thumbs Up. That was a very, very proud moment. Professor, you spoke about skilled management professionals, employability. But I think equally relevant is the studies imparted in your institution is for entrepreneurs, for startups, with Gaurav here, I can't miss out on that, and for all sorts of business leaders, and more so the manner in which you all have evolved in the field of imparting structural education to family business. That is extremely useful for members of Bharat Chamber of Commerce, I would say. So just wanted to add to whatever you had said in terms of, I mentioned that we'll be there with you for all that you have asked us and I'm reserving something what you did not ask us for a later part of the sentence. But I did mention only research. But I do get, ideas from you that yes, we can partner in consulting, we can partner in internships and final placements, and and a lot of other areas that you mentioned. But what you did not mention us is, Professor, you mentioned that you have a grievance with the entrepreneurs of Kolkata for not being able to give you a Katha work-based gowns. Okay. So I have a grievance with you. You never asked us at Bharat Chamber of Commerce. So in this partnership, we can, in that spirit, we can say that yes, if any such thing, we are a phone call away to connect you with the right people. And here are two organizations where you can go for that is Priyo Gopal Bishnoi shop and Biswa Bangla store at Dakshin Pada in Dhakuria, Dakhinapan in Dhakuria and at Park Street. So this saves you from a lot of work next time you are looking for this. So yes. So Bharat Chamber should be your first port of call, sir, for any inquiries that you have. So yeah, this is it. Ladies and gentlemen, one more thing before we open up the. This should after Q&A, right? Yeah. Okay. So we now open up for a short interactive session, question answers with Professor Rai. So if you have any question, please do ask, introduce yourself, and also ask a question. Just ask a question, not make statements, and please be brief so that Professor can. It gives time to more people to ask, and of course Professor to answer it properly. So yes, we open up now. Yes.
First of all, I would like to thank you, sir, for such an enriching session. I'm a faculty member from Maulana Azad College of Commerce faculty. So one question I have for you, sir, is like what soft skills do the employees seek in their future candidates that often the students ignore? And also, what skills can the colleges, basically from finance background, provide to sustain the students in the market in the long run? Thank you, sir.
See, I'm sorry to say this, but then I'll have to say this. There cannot be a standard recipe for this because a lot depends on the kind of industry that you're talking of and the kind of clientele that you have to. Now, if you're a commerce college, of course, there are some basic essentials that students were taught for years, like for example, good English communication, basic computer science, professional etiquettes, and so on. But for finance, I believe, or for any functional thing, the knowledge of modern technology tool, information technology tool. What I say is, when I talk of artificial intelligence, these days artificial intelligence has become like AI chai, AI samosa chhod ke everything is AI now. So, but then I don't want to use it in that reference. I take this just as an information technology tools to facilitate decision making. So whatever tool you think you are considering it for, let's say for example a BCom student who is trained to be an accountant, he or she needs to be trained into those relevant artificial intelligence tools. So without English it will work, but without those tools it won't. Because businesses, there are so many business people sitting out here, and you see, even for designing of those kanta stitching or maybe whatever you talk of, those designings are done on IT tools, those selling is done through online media, the transactions are recorded through information technology tool, the conciliation, the GST, I mean final conciliation, preparing balance sheets, tax filing, everything is through information technology tool. Information technology, training them in IT, relevant IT tools, whatever, I mean, suits to the industry. Second is, also have got to prepare them in, just say for accounting, you train them in Tally. This was the most traditional way of teaching them into. But then all the developments that are coming up in that field has got to be trained in. So see, even coding earlier people used to learn, right? We go to, be it IT institutes, NIIT and Aptech and so on, or BTech, computer science. What all they would be doing was coding, right? This is the program I want, this is the coding. Now, a room full of coders, 3 days work can be done in maybe 30 seconds or maybe 3 minutes by artificial intelligence. The same coding is being done. So not just train them in artificial intelligence tools, but relevant artificial intelligence tools, and also the tools that are going to come for future. This training them in what is going to come for future is where the competitive edge of your student is going to lie. Because otherwise all these students are trained in Tally. No. So from traditional training them into communicative English or basic computer science, this used to be considered as soft skills. But now it has moved to relevant IT tool and the future of that IT